Welcome back. In the previous video, we have seen the work of one-to-one unidirectional and bidirectional mapping. Okay. Now, in this video, we are going to see one-to-many unidirectional and bidirectional mapping. Now, before we start seeing the implementation of one-to-many, first of all, we will understand what is one-to-many. Okay. So, in one-to-one, what happens? We connect one attribute to another attribute, right? For example, let's say this one is coaching institute, and this one is another entity, address. In coaching institute, there are multiple attributes are there, like salary, and in address, one is ID and another one is location. Okay. Now in one-to-one, what we have seen that there is one more attribute that I have added here, coaching institute address, and this attribute is connected to this location, and through that we access in both the ways. Now in this video, what we will try to access multiple location with the help of this coaching institute. For example, multiple data we will try to access. How we will try to access multiple data? Let's say, for example, coaching institute address, okay, and through that we will try to access with many attribute with the help of coaching institute. For example, let's say location, multiple location we will try to access. I will give the location name is location 1. So one-to-many, it will work when from one coaching institute address attribute I will try to access 5 different locations, okay, from the database, and again from the 5 different location, if I will try to access that coaching institute data, through that it will become bidirectional in both the ways. So first thing first of all, we will implement coaching institute address, and from coaching institute we will try to access multiple locations. So how am I going to do that? Let's see. You can see that all the previous code which I have implemented at one-to-one is already removed, except address.java is there, because through that only we will map. Okay, now what we will do, first of all, we will go to coaching institute.java, and here I am going to add one more attribute, private list and address. Name of the attribute, let's say I will keep as coaching institute address, coaching institute. Okay, job is done. Now here I am going to map at one-to-many annotation and cascade. We know the work of a cascade, so I'm going to see all of that: create, read, update and delete. So I'm going to write cascade type dot all. Another one is at join column. Let's say join column ID, I will give address ID, like the last time I did. Done. Now let's create the setter getter class of this coaching institute address attribute. Setter getter created coaching institute address. So this part is done. Now we will go to the address, and we will not implement anything here through this address only, this coaching institute address attribute only. We will try to save the data in location. Okay, now we don't have any work in service or repository. We will directly go to the controller. In controller, here in add section, I am going to mark at request param location, and here I am going to accept the data as list. Add type is address, and I will keep it as name location. Let's import here param, spelling is wrong. And here coaching dot set coaching institute address, and here I am going to store location. This one is done. The controller part is also done. Now what we will do, we will go to the JSP part. First of all, we will go to coaching institute.jsp, and here inside C for each loop, alright, here I have in the coaching institute.jsp file, I have if the data will come, then it will iterate inside that coaching institute address place.location. Okay, now we will go to the next save data JSP file, coaching institute underscore save, and here I am going to use, here I've already mentioned JSTL core prefix C, so here I will go in the bottom, and here I am going to use and after that inside C choose there will be two logic, one is C when and another one is C otherwise. That is just the if else logic. Inside C choose, if any condition is true, then it will work inside C when, and if it is not true, then it will execute C otherwise. Okay, now here I am going to mention not empty if coaching institute address is not empty. So what I am going to write here, dollar not empty. Coaching institute dot address is not empty, then go inside C when, and inside C when I am going to write C for each. Institute dot coaching institute dot address, and after that here where equal to place. Place dot location, the same entity name which is kept inside address, correct? So I think here also job is done only, there is nothing to implement. Now let's go to C otherwise. Inside C otherwise, if the data is not there, that means it's completely new. In that scenario, what we can do is Alright, so I have given here 5 with the same name location, and see in the controller part here I have written the extract the list of data, which is extracted means the same name repeated it is coming, then it will come as a list, and save that inside coaching institute set address location. So I think all the work is done. Let's start the application and see that it is working fine or not. Alright, application is started. Let's refresh the screen. Okay, coaching institute and institute address of both the table got created. Now what we will do, let's create some data here. First of all, I'm going to write 5 salary. Let's say salary will keep it as 15, and after that fees 25, maintenance 4, head of finance department Aditya, location, first location I will give my hometown Jharkhand, after that West Bengal, after that Odisha, after that Assam, after that Tripura. Alright, now add details. Here you can see that all the details are added successfully. Now let's run it here. Now here you can see that IT fees, head of finance department, maintenance, salary is added, correct. Now in the institute address ID is mentioned as 1. That's because all the 1 is mapped with this one, correct, this ID 1, and rest ID 1 is, that means it is ID 1, this fees, head of finance department, everything is mapped with this ID, for example. So it is a one-to-many mapping. One ID is mapping to this one, again this ID is mapped to the third, this ID is mapped to the fourth, one is mapped to the fifth, one is mapped to the sixth, and we can see that it is create how we saved the data. Let's add one more data to cross verify, and this time I will add fees as 30,000, and this one I will put as 50,000, and maintenance, let's say 5, head of finance department Gopal, location I will give something Kerala, another one is Karnataka, Andhra, after that Tamil Nadu, after Tamil Nadu let's say Uttar Pradesh. Let's save the data here. Now again 2 data got saved. Now let's run the screen. Now here you can see that here ID number is given as 7. Now this 7 is mapped to the ID number 6, ID number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this became one-to-many mapping. From the ID number 7 I can access all the details of institute address from 8 to 12 ID. Okay, so this is how one-to-many mapping works. Now what about update the data? Let's try to update. Okay, so here update section is not working. It should come, right? So I think I did a mistake there. So let's see what is the mistake. Place dot location. This is one mistake, I haven't done that one. Now let's close. Another mistake, I think the spelling that I have mentioned it here is wrong. Okay, now let's refresh. Okay, update. Here it is completely gone, the data. Still it is not showing. Why it is not showing? Okay, here also name is mistake. Let's try again now. Yeah, that was the mistake I have done. Now here I can see that. Now let's try to update something. Here instead of West Bengal, I will give Delhi. Add details. See, changes came and Delhi happened. Now if I whatever try to delete, the data got deleted. Now if I will check it out here, I can see that here data is returning as a null, but it's not removing Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha. It should delete all those details, right? But it's not deleting. Instead of that, it deleted the ID. So what if I wanted to delete this data also, because this will become the garbage data, right, if it is not connected to anywhere. So for that, what I am going to use, I will go to the coachinginstitute.java, and here I am going to mention orphan removal equal to true. Application started. Now obviously all the data would have gone. As usual. Now let's save some data. Here I'm going to mention salary is 15,000, here 25, maintenance 4,000, head of finance department Aditya, location, first location Jharkhand, second West Bengal, third I will give Odisha, fourth I will give Assam, again I will give Tripura. Let's save some data. Now check it out here. Here all the ID is mapped with 23456. Now again let's try to update Odisha. I will change it to Delhi. Again add Delhi is updated. Now let's try to delete. Data got deleted. Now let's check it out here. Now you can see that all the data is gone instead of removing the ID. So orphan removal will remove if the any data is not connected with their foreign key ID, then it will automatically get deleted. So we see the create, read, update, delete operation of OneToMany. Let's revise what are the things that we learned. Okay. First of all, in Coaching Institute entity, what we did, we created a list address attribute. List type is address, and the name I have given as Coaching Institute address. And here I have marked this one as OneToMany, and the next one that we did is add join column. And here I have also used cascade and orphan removal also. After that, this address ID, what it did, it mapped when I have written like that, then this one more column was created, address ID column was created inside address. This is a foreign key of Coaching Institute. Okay. With the help of a list, and we saved multiple data in location with the help of only one ID. It was presented something like this. And other details like salary, fees, maintenance, and everything. Maintenance. Okay. Let's say ID I have kept as 1, and here other details are there. For example, other details, salary is 15,000, fees 25,000, maintenance 4,000 plus head of finance department Aditya. Now after that, what happened? Another table address also got created, and the name of the table that we have created as institute address. Okay, here also with the, here you can see the attribute is list address. So because of the list address, multiple data got created. With this institute ID primary key, location, and the third one is the foreign key of that institute address. So that means whatever the data it is written here, it is mapped to here, correct? So for example, if any location I have saved something like Odisha I have saved, or Jharkhand I have saved in a coaching institute address, and here I have saved as West Bengal. Here primary key ID became something like say 2, 3, 4, but this location is mapped to ID number in coaching institute ID number 1. So this is ID number 1. So what we did in the GSP part, we are accessing the data from the coaching institute, and through that we can see what are the details saved in the ID number 1, means how many locations are there. 3 locations are there: Odisha, Jharkhand and West Bengal. This is the unidirectional. We are accessing the data from ID side to, from coaching institute to institute address. Okay, now this is called unidirectional. Now what we will do, now we will try to access from institute address to coaching institute, and that will known as bidirectional. Let's see how we will do that. Okay, in the address model class we are going to add one more attribute, private. Type will be coaching institute. And here I am going to mark annotation at many to one. You saw OneToMany. OneToMany indicates that from one ID to multiple foreign key, correct? Now from many to one means from one key, many to one means from multiple foreign key to one. So through that I can connect from at one to many and many to one. Through that I can combine both bidirectional. So here I am going to implement at many to one annotation, and here I am going to use cascade. After that I need a one foreign key ID. For that I'm going to add join column. Name equal to coaching address getter and setter. After address coaching institute, the last one I will choose after set location. Now we can see that here that setter getter created of that address coaching institute type. Now what we will do, we will go to the coaching institute, and in coaching institute I am going to remove at join column because I already mentioned it at address side, and here I'm also going to remove cascade type.all because I'm trying to save the data from the coaching institute side. So I've removed that. Now and here I am going to write mapped by address coaching institute. That's it. Now I'm going to create the controller file, controller service, and the two, both the address.jsp, address underscore save.jsp and address.jsp, we are going to replicate all the things which we have did in coaching institute side. Okay, from service to controller and from controller to JSP file. So let's do that. I think that controller part job is also done. There is no such thing new to implement. So now I can create two JSP file. Okay, for the JSP file job is also done. Now let's see it is working fine or not. So let's start the application. Okay, cannot map address. So I think I know my mistake. Let's go to address controller, and here I am going to write add request mapping. Let's start the application again. Alright, no error. Now what we will do, here I am going to add change the IP address. Okay, data is now accessing from coaching institute. That's because I haven't changed the name. Okay, now what we will do, we will save some data here. For example, here I am going to save 15,000, here 25,000, and here 5,000, and here Aditya I am going to keep the name, and here I am going to keep my home place Jharkhand. Let's try to submit the data. I'm able to submit the data. Now what if I'm able to access the same data from the coaching institute side? Let's try to do that. Okay, location Jharkhand, I'm able to access the data from the back side. Now what if I will update the data here? Instead of Jharkhand, I will keep some other name, Odisha. Now if I will try to delete the data, so this is not the perfect application, but through that you can understand that how one-to-many and many-to-one bidirectional mapping works. Okay, if you have any type of a doubt or feedback, please write it in the comment section. All the practice code which you have seen here, I will upload it in the GitHub, and GitHub link I will give in the description section. Okay, now this is the end of the video. In the next video again we are going to talk about some important concept of a string. So stay tuned and keep watching ADHYAN channel, and if you are new to this channel, please like and subscribe and press the bell icon for the regularly updates. Thank you.